Imagine if you had a twin, and in every situation where the two of you were together, everyone would simply refer to you two as the Smiths or the Jensens. It would probably get on your nerves, but could you really blame them? I mean, other than your names, everything else is practically the same. You both come from the same parents, you look the same, and you're both human. So what makes you any different than your twin, or even any other human for that matter? This was a very common topic in the days of the Roman philosophers. Philosophers like Porphyry, Boethius, and Gilbert of Poitiers each had their own little insights on the question: what makes two things of the same type different from the other? Or rather, how can one be individualized from the other if all other apparent human features are the same? Everyone breathes, sees, hears, and tastes as one another. But what makes someone truly different or an individualized human than all that have come before and will after? There were a couple of theories thrown out, and at the time believed by Porphyry and Boethius, that were later the stepping stones to a seemingly complete conclusion by Gilbert of Poitiers. The two theories thought of by Porphyry and Boethius were the accidentalist theory and the, what I like to call, the placement theory, since no name was specified.
Here are two human beings. On the right, Noah, and the left, Ben. According to Porphyry, each of them are both individuals, meaning singular from the other. But how can they truly tell? Porphyry said that one can be individuated using accidental features. However, does this really make them individual? I mean, if they just lose these features, are they still the same individuals? This was the problem. This second theory was one very simple to understand, but did not give much enlightenment on individuality, and therefore required more detail. The theory, by Boethius, suggested that a person's individuality came from their place on earth at any given time. No other person can be in the same place as another, as shown here. So, the space that surrounds them must make them individual, until, of course, that person moves around.
Gilbert of Poitiers thought of this question of how to individuate a human, and used Porphyry and Boethius' theories as stepping stones for his final conclusion. He agreed that accidents show us things are individual. However, it fails to prove why it's individual. He explains this by saying that someone is an individual, but his or her accidents are merely dividuals, meaning they are divided amongst the rest of the human race. A substance, he says, and not its characterizing features, can be individual. In fact, when referring to his main argument, humanity, he describes an instance of humanity as not being individual, because it must be non-repeatable. Therefore, in every human being there is their own humanity that belongs solely to that person and no one else, while also being similar to other instances of humanity. Within one's own instance of humanity, individuals are on a par with essential features that all serve as part of the total form that guarantees individuality. This theory collects features from both the past and the future, because Gilbert believes it is the final form that one can call individual, even without future information. When looking at the past issue of God, he says that, like the area that surrounds Plato, or Platonity, when referring to God, one would classify him as divinity. We may have all been made in the image and likeness of God, but every human being is their own individual, through their accidents past and future, and their separate but similar humanities.